We use it every single day for pretty much everything. But here's a question. If you really had to explain what the internet is, could you do it? Well, in this explainer, we're going to peel back the layers on the network that, let's be honest, runs our entire world.
Okay, let's just dive right in, because this is something most of us get wrong, pretty much constantly. See, when you tell someone you're on the internet, browsing websites, you're actually talking about something totally different.
So this is the big one. The internet is the actual physical stuff. All the fiber optic cables buried underground, the routers, the servers. Think of it like the global system of roads. The World Wide Web, with all its websites and links, that's just one type of traffic driving on those roads. It's a big one for sure, but it's not the only one. Email, streaming, file sharing, they all use the internet too.
So what's the magic sauce that makes all this different hardware actually work together? Well, it's a common language called TCP/IP. You can think of it like a universal postal service for data. It takes your information, chops it up into tiny packets, puts an address on each one, and makes sure they all get to the right place and are put back together in the right order. That's the protocol that turned this jumble of separate networks into the internet. So how on earth did we build it?
The internet's origin story doesn't start in some Silicon Valley garage like you might think. Nope, it actually began as a US defense project. And its journey to becoming the public utility we can't live without, well, that wasn't an accident. It was a slow, careful evolution of a pretty radical idea.
And this right here, this is the light bulb moment. The whole goal wasn't to build one single giant network. The genius behind it was figuring out a way for all these different, totally separate networks to talk to each other. An internetwork. That's where the name comes from.
And you can really see how it all just clicked into place, one step after another. First, ARPANET proved the whole concept was even possible. Then, TCP/IP gave all the different networks that common language they needed. After that, NSFNet built this massive, high-speed backbone that opened things up way beyond just the military. And then, finally, Tim Berners-Lee comes along and gives us the last piece of the puzzle, the World Wide Web, an easy-to-use interface that would finally bring the internet to the rest of us.
And boy, what an explosion it was. That last piece, the web, completely uncorked the internet's potential. It has fundamentally changed, everything about how we live, work, and connect with each other. And it did it in just a couple of decades.
Just let that number sink in for a second. 5.4 billion. That's more than 2/3 of all humanity, all connected to this one single global network. It's an incredible number, but honestly, the speed at which we got there is even more mind-blowing. Just look at this jump. Back in 2005, which doesn't feel that long ago, being online was still something only a fraction of the world did. And then, in less than 20 years, it became the default for most people on the planet. Wow. No other technology has ever been adopted that fast on that scale.
And it's not just about how many people are online. It's about who is online. The whole game is changing. Yeah, it started out as a very American, English-dominated thing, but today it is a truly global and multilingual space. The fact that English and Chinese content make up more than half the web, that tells you exactly where the digital center of gravity is shifting.
It's honestly hard to imagine a world without all this stuff now, right? The internet has completely remade entire industries, from how we buy a pair of shoes to how we watch movies or learn a new language. But having this one huge global system that we all rely on, it raises a really important question. Who's actually in charge of this thing?
The answer is, it's kind of weird. It's basically no one and everyone. There's no single internet government or headquarters. Instead, the whole thing is managed by this loose global collaboration of different organizations that each handle a different piece of the technical puzzle.
So first up, you have an organization called ICANN. The best way to think about them is as the internet's global address bookkeeper. They don't control what's on a website, but they make sure every single device and website has a unique address. They're the reason that when you type a website name into your browser, you actually go to the right place. Okay, so if ICANN manages the addresses, then you have the IETF. These are the engineers. They're the ones who write the actual rulebook for how traffic flows. They develop all the technical standards, the protocols, that make sure data gets packaged and sent the right way so that a computer in Brazil can talk to a server in Japan without a problem.
But, this amazing, open, decentralized system, it has a flip side. Its very openness is what makes it vulnerable. security is just a massive constant battle. Get this, in a single year, security researchers found over 669 times million new types of malware. It is a never-ending fight against people trying to exploit the system. And that leads us to one of the biggest debates of our time.
So as our lives get more and more tangled up with this global network, the debate over how to run it, how to keep it free but also secure, is only going to get more intense. Is it going to stay this global open system run by technical groups? Or will governments start building their own walls, creating a fractured splinter net? It's a huge question, and it's a conversation that really involves every single one of us.